The witch is dead! The witch is dead! The witch is dead! It's over! We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a freaking train coming right at us. Wow! It's next on Locked on Jazz. Bum 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 bum.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked on Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, and geeky numbers. I cannot be more excited. Yes! Yes! Thank you for making Locked on Jazz your first listen. Thank you for making Locked on the #1 sports podcast network. We are free and available on all podcasting apps. Can we have a moment together? Can we have a moment together? Can we hug? Can we high five? Can we act like we just won the Super Bowl? I mean, it might not be that good a trade. We didn't win like an NBA title tomorrow, but it's over. The witch is freaking dead. The rebuild is dead. We don't do this anymore. It's over. It's over. Isn't that what we all like? Please spend it with me. Have this moment with me. I'll give you the analysis. I'll give you the geeky numbers. I'll give you all stuff. But can we just have a moment? We've been doing this together for 3.5 years. And we don't have to do it anymore after April 15th. Maybe April 12th. We got to do it really, really well for the next 29 games, let me tell you. I'm rooting for 3-26 here. I ain't lying to you at all on that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we get to play relevant basketball. We can try to win games instead of develop players. We get to do it again. We get to do the real stuff again. Come on, have a moment with me. Have a moment with me. I'll give you the analysis. I literally want to cry. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is not perfect. It's really freaking good. It's a major move. It's a mammoth swing by Austin Ainge. It's a huge commitment by Ryan Ashley-Smith. It's everything we've been dying for since the day they traded Rudy and Donovan. And we knew it was going to be a time. It was going to take time, and it had to happen, and it was arduous. And oh my God, has it been arduous. Let's not lie about it. Like, I'm with you. I felt it. I called it. It's been hard for everyone. It's so much more fun if the Jazz are playing and you stop your life at 7 o'clock at night because the Jazz are playing and you've got to get there. Or if the Jazz are playing in Atlanta at 5 and you want to get home early so you can see the game and watch Craig and Thurl. Yeah, it's so much better when that's the case. It's so much better when you're watching a game and you don't have to figure out, do I want us to win or do I want us to lose or what the hell's going on? No, it's over. The freaking witch is dead. I get why we did it. I'm not complaining. It just was so hard. Wasn't it? It was so hard. And it's still got 29 days left of it. But then it's over. It's over. We get a draft in 2026, hopefully with a top 8 pick. We add that piece to the puzzle, and the accelerator's down, and Will Hardy can coach, and we can analyze basketball games with the intention of winning, and we can do this again as fans are built to do, and we can wear our Jazz stuff and not our Mammoth stuff. Yes! I'm so excited. I have all this analysis. I have all this other stuff. I was in the midst of it yesterday. It was a crazy day. Of course, I happened to have like the most important Locked On meeting of the year yesterday, right as the trade broke. And Leaf did a wonderful job. But can we not have analysis for a second? Can we just have a moment? I'll put out a buttload of content for you today. When this 30-minute show is over, I'll put out another one later and another breakdown. We'll do a deep Jaren Jackson Jr. We'll do this. We'll do all the things. I'll do an episode of all the things that could go wrong. I don't care. I'll do it all because I'm so geeked. Because it's over. It's over. And the dramatic change from where we were on October 4th, whatever it was when the training camp opened, to where we are, October, November, December, January. These might be the most remarkable 4 months that this franchise has seen. Let me explain. If we really put an honest thought process on where we were when camp opened October 1st, okay? On October 1st, we go in and we have Lauri Markkanen, and we're wondering whether we're going to trade Lauri Markkanen. Locked On releases their top 100 players, and Lauri Markkanen is 55th in the NBA. 55th. Coming off a not very good year, and we're wondering whether we're going to trade Lauri, and everyone's talking about us trading Lauri, and if we trade Lauri, we literally have nothing at that point. Nothing. When we open camp, we have 7 players. We have Keontae George. We have Taylor Hendricks coming off a massive injury. We don't know if he's going to be able to play at all. We have Bryce Sensabaugh. We have Isaiah Collier. We have Kyle Filipowski. We have Cody Williams. We have Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton. We have 7 players. We know that Walker Kessler is probably a rotation big in the NBA because he had such a good year the year before. And we have Lauri Markkanen, and that is it. That was it. Keontae George had shot 39% and 31% in his 2 years prior to that. We did not know that Keontae George was an NBA player. Literally, we were having the conversation that Keontae George had 3 doors to go through. He was either going to be Bones Highland, he was going to be Jared Bayless, and he was going to be CJ McCollum. And I had optimism because I had heard reports and I'd heard how hard he had worked and all those things. But the fact of the matter was, if I had to bet, I probably would have bet on Bones Highland or Jared Bayless, if I'm totally honest, because I had absolutely nothing on October 1st to tell me that Keontae George was anything more than that. There was not one piece of truth. There was guess, and there was hope, and there was a bunch of stuff, and there was here of his work, and there was his body, and there was his skill set, and there was the fact he looked like he belonged, but there really wasn't anything that showed you that yet. And he came and rose, and none of this happens today unless Keontae George makes this jump. I'm not sure this move makes sense unless Keontae George had made this jump. That's the first of the last 4 months. Then we get Ace Bailey, and he's good. He's got a ways to go, but he's good. And then Lauri returns to being an all-star. Lauri's not top 50 in the NBA. He's probably borderline all-star. He's probably top 30. And Keontae's probably close to top 50. And now all of a sudden, you can add Jaren Jackson Jr., who was ranked 25th of the Locked On top 100 players, and you've got yourself a roster. But you're not making the gamble and paying $50 million a year for Jaren Jackson's extension if Keontae George doesn't jump and Lauri Markkanen doesn't show that he is everything we thought he was 2 years ago. So if you look at where we were October 1, when camp breaks, September 29th, to where we are on February 4th, holy smokes. Because there have been a lot of days over this last summer where I looked at the Utah Jazz and I was like, we are year 4 in a rebuild, and I see no end in sight. The end is not only in sight, I can touch it. There really was let's be honest. You're sitting there this summer, and if you're honest and not just being what I used to call a ho-ho, a head over heart, or a heart over head, dyslexia kills, or dyslexia confuses, it doesn't kill. When I used to do a talk show on Locked On Sports on KFan and all of Sports Leader and all of our various stations, when I was talk shows, I had something which referred to a sports fan whose heart was over their head. Like they're so invested they can't actually see it logically. If you were just being logical about where the Jazz stood this summer, it was not good. We had lost the lottery. We had the 5th pick of the draft. We got Ace Bailey, who's going to turn out to be just fine. I mean, really just fine, and better now in this circumstance. And we had none of our 7 pieces of our puzzle look like they were going to be NBA rotation players, frankly. Let's just be honest. And we didn't know what we had to start. Lowry might have to trade him and really start the whole freaking thing over. No, we're not doing that. Season tickets are available for next year, and you get to watch basketball and try to compete for a playoff spot and go after it with a formidable lineup that could be crazy. Yes! Be with me. Hug. We can all bro hug or not bro hug. I don't care what kind of hug. Yes! I mean, seriously. Seriously. As a fan, as an announcer, yes, this is why we do this. And that was a long march. It might not have been the communist long march in China, but it was a long freaking march. Yes! All right, I'll give some analysis yet, but I needed that moment with you. We do this every day together. We're like together. You're an everydayer. We're there. I got a feeling you're feeling the same thing I am. Yes! Thank you, Austin Ainge. Thank you, Utah Jazz fans, for sticking with it. Thank you, Ryan and Ashley Smith, for committing to a mammoth $50 million a year contract. We got some salary cap issues we're going to have to dig into at some point, but that's boring. It's time. And the Utah Jazz are going to be relevant again starting on April 15th, if they aren't already. Yes! All right. It's just going to be a ton of content today. What did we get? We'll talk about that. What did we really give up? What did we get? The positives and the negatives. That'll be next on Locked on Jazz. On a day this important, at least I also get to talk about my favorite guy, and that's Steve Carter. Steve Carter has been with Locked on forever, and I'm like out of breath and tired. Oh my gosh, I'm in terrible shape. Steve Carter's been with us forever. He's our own personal loan officer, and he's over at Intercap Lending. He is licensed in 43 states, so you don't have to just be in Utah. He is really, truly one of the best customer service people I've ever been a part. Here's the latest. I was emailing with him the other day. Rates have come down since last month, so they're seeing more people reach out and start to refinance their homes that they bought in the past few years that are a little higher rate. And even if you had people reach out to do cash out loans to pay off other debts after some holiday spending. So one thing to note is even if it doesn't make sense to refinance today, Steve can get you set up and really do something valuable, which is figure out, okay, when the rates hit this, it's worth it. When the rates hit this, it's worth it. And set you up for your timing and give you a quick review and let you know what's out there for you. Also, if you're doing construction loan, they have strong 2-time close construction loan. You own the land. The land can be used to help you with down payment. Then you're not defer interest payments during construction, which helps with cash flow when the house is being built. They also handle all standard purchase loans, including conventional, FHA, VA, licensed in 43 states. So all the listeners can go to Steve Carter. All right. The reviews are awesome. You've heard about Steve before. If you're going to use Steve, email me at dlock09@gmail.com. That's dlock09@gmail.com so that we can give you the Locked On VIP treatment. That is dlock09@gmail.com for Intercap Lending. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. I really gave all my energy to the first moments of the show and might not survive the rest of it. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. Only final Sunday. One last kickoff. Go Hawks, go Hawks, go Hawks. Seahawks, Seahawks, Seahawks. The final chance to get into the action before NFL Sunday officially closes. This is Super Bowl 60 at FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing your favorite, riding with the underdog, building one last same-day parlay, this is the game everybody's been waiting for. There's where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines. Every snap feels bigger. It's a perfect way to cap off the season, make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to final whistle. If you're a new customer, just bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the number one sports podcast network. Promo code JJJ. Here's the deal. Everydayer Club. You can get in right now with the promo code JJJ. I think you get 1 month free. Either plan works for you on that. In honor of that, if you want to dive back in, get it. Here's what the Everydayer plan is. All access. You text back and forth with me. One-on-one. You get daily newsletter after every show. You get Leaf Tuline's bonus content. You'll probably get some bonus content from me today as well. You get, we'll do a special Q&A today for just everydayers. that send me their questions of what they have about the trade. You are on the inner circle of Locked On. You get access to the merchandise store. You get access to Locked On Jazz ad-free. You get Locked On Sports Today in your feed ad-free if you want it. You get access into the Locked On Jazz Discord community and be part of the best jazz community out there as we continue to grow it. That's all for $15 a month. Promo code JJJ gets you 1 month off, or you $150 for a whole year. That is at LockedOnJazz.supercast.com, LockedOnJazz.supercast.com. If you don't want to go all in, you just want ad-free, you just want Locked On Sports Today ad-free, and you just want to be part of that great Jazz Discord community, you can do that for $5 a month, plus JJJ code gets you. Woo! All right. I'm not the only one who's like this. I don't usually share these inside things, but I want to share. The bus was more talkative yesterday than it has been on any day all year going to the game. It was like giddy energy from the players on the bus to the game last night. If you think we had a long march, what about like Will Hardy, who every single day is coaching and has his record underneath him while he's doing what he's supposed to be doing? I talked to Keontae in the walkout last night. He was just ecstatic. He'd already talked to Jaren Jackson. Just ecstatic. Lowry Markkanen has to be just ecstatic. You saw it actually on the court last night. They only played 7 guys, but they had a ton of juice last night. So if I'm jumping around screaming and yelling and being a madman and out of breath and like tired from the show already, like think about how they feel. This has not been fun for them. They get it. They understood it. It was not fun. They're getting paid a lot. They get it. That's what the money's for. But this has not been fun for anyone. And now they get to turn the page. And I also think we're going to go through. I hope, because this trade actually turns bad if we lose our draft pick. Well, I just want to clarify that. Like, it goes from like really good to like, not so good if we lose our draft pick. Not bad, but just not so good. So we could go through really a tough next 29 games. And I'm not joking. Like, I hope we go 3-26. But I also think like everybody can handle that now because they know what's coming. And like Keontae can put in another summer. He's proved his point. Now he can put in another summer because he knows now like he's going to get to play big time basketball games and maybe some national television. And Lowry can put in another summer like he did because he knows he can get, but like this doesn't, like when you're going through this, it's hard. So there was more energy on the bus yesterday. There was more juice around the game and you could just feel it in the players. And there's like a practice and like they're practicing today, which they were practicing before, but like, I think you'll see these guys want to be together. They want to be there. They'll miss George. They'll miss Kyle. They'll miss Walter. Okay. What did we get? I'm sure I'm not your only place to get content, so I'm sure you've dug into this. But let's break it down. Former 4th pick of the NBA draft, whose resume highlights as a 2-time block champion, 2-time All-Star, 3-time All-Defensive Team, and a Defensive Player of the Year. I'm super geeked. This is great. But I'm also going to be really honest. He's not perfect. And in fact, if you go back and listen to our postcast after the Memphis game, last time we were in Memphis, Ron Boone, his entire postcast was about what are they going to do with Jaren Jackson Jr. because he's completely disinterested and he doesn't match their system. So he's not been very good this year. Now, last year, he was an all-star, averaged 22 points and 5.6 rebounds. Okay, 5.6 rebounds. He is a non-rebounder. Just understand that about him. That's fine, but that's his weakness. He is a fabulous defensive 4. When he won his Defensive Player of the Year, Steven Adams was the center on that team. He is not as good of a defensive 5 because he doesn't rebound well enough. So he actually really needs Walker Kessler or a center. Because when you look at his rebounding numbers and his ability to get uncontested and rebounds, he's not elite. In fact, his defensive rebounding percentages are in the 33rd percentile this year, 19th percentile, 17th percentile, and he doesn't offensive rebound very much because he often plays a little bit on the perimeter. And so you are going to need to see he is better if he has a rebounding center. His block rate for whatever weird reason, has gone from best in the NBA to well above average in the last 3 years. That also might be when he moved to have to play with some other different centers and didn't have Steven Adams anymore and didn't have the big center, but that something changed in which he went from about a 5% block rate to 2.5% block rate. His trajectory as what position he plays is super interesting. He came into the league on a young team, and he played power forward the first year, and then they slid him to center, and it didn't work very well. Then in the 21-22 season, they moved him more to power forward, and he became elite. And in 22-23, he was incredible. When he was on the floor, the defense was in the 92nd and 93rd percentile. He then played almost all power forward, and then midway through the 24-25 season, probably around the time of the coaching change, they flipped it on him again, and some personnel issues. Zach Edey wasn't quite ready yet. And he went back to playing center. He wasn't nearly as good defensively again. The last 2 years, when he was at power forward, their defense was in the 71st percentile. When he was at center this year, their defense was in the 43rd percentile. The year before, when he was in the power forward position, his defense was in the 90th percentile, and when he played center, he was in the 66th percentile. So, and in both circumstances, the problem was that the team did not rebound when he played center. So the Jazz got someone who's best if he plays power forward for the majority of his minutes, and this is where he actually needs Walker. Walker probably needs him as well. It's a nice complement of those two. So from the defensive side of things, he is an unbelievable power forward defender. He can move his feet defensively. He can slide a little bit. He can do some of those kind of things. We'll probably do an extra episode. In my mind, I'm just doing content all day. It's rainy and kind of gross here in Atlanta, and I have like 6 meetings, but somehow, excuse me, in my mind, I'm doing just content all day because that's all I want to do is talk about this. So from a defensive standpoint, that's what the Jazz got. They also got someone who generally is pretty darn good at switching 1 through 4 defensively, actually 1 through 5 defensively, and then gets pulled out on the perimeter. That's part of the reason why he's probably not the greatest defender, is because of the fact that, or rebounders, because when he switches defensively, playing that. His isolation defense this year has been 0.88 points per chance. That is one of the best isolation defenders in the NBA. If you take those 108 guys that have taken 100 isolation chances in the NBA, Jaren Jackson Jr. is in the top at 0.88. Jaren Jackson Jr. is 20th in the NBA of 108 defensive players. We don't have anyone close to that. So Jaren Jackson, Scotty Barnes, Chet Holmgren, all are the same kind of isolation defensive players out there. So you can play him on the perimeter, switching 1 through 4, and then he's a weak side shot blocking defender. It's pretty awesome. That's when he is at his best. And that's what the Jazz have to hope. His defensive rate over the last 5 seasons is a 0.83. That is elite. How elite? If you look at those defenders that have had, let's say, 500 isolation chances, or let's go 600 isolation chances last year. That's actually the number I had, which is 113 guys. Jaren Jackson is the 3rd best isolation defender in the NBA. Okay, this is 5 years worth of, but Lou Dort is 1, Jason Tatum's 2, Jaren Jackson is 3, Jalen Williams is 4, Bam Adebayo is 5. That matches the eye test. This is the 3rd best isolation defender in the NBA. So he can switch 1 through 4. He's better at a power forward, and he's a great shot blocker. He's coming from the weak side, and we just became a defensive force. All right, what does he offensively we do next? Yeah, I'm not getting to any. I have so much stuff to get to. I'm just going to keep making content all day. Yes! It is Locked on Jazz. Who is JJ offensively, and what did we give up next? Thanks so much for tuning in to Locked On Jazz today. Today's show is also brought to you by our good friends over at Game Time. When you want to go to a ball game, you want to go to a concert, Game Time is your answer for you, and we'll take care of you in every way possible by giving you the best ticketing app that is out there. And if you download the Game Time app and use the code Locked On, we'll give you $20 off your first purchase. If you want to see when we actually do finally come home with 2 games before All-Star break, and you want to see Jaren Jackson Jr., you can do it with Game Time. Game Time's great because they have the zone deals. You set the zone, they'll give you the best deal they possibly can. Plus, toggle over to all-in pricing up front. No surprise checkouts at the end, plus great last-minute options as well with NBA tickets, NFL tickets. Well, only one NFL ticket right now. Seahawks. I just have to do that all throughout the show. Feels quick, intuitive, easy, stress-free, and all starts at Game Time. Get it all done there with Game Time. Check out, buy the NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. That's Locked On for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. It's GameTime.co, not GameTime.com. So that's GameTime.co. Today's show is also brought to you by Quo. QUO.com. And right now, you get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to Quo.com/LockedOnNBA. I probably should tell you what Quo is. Quo is a chance for you to streamline your communication system. One of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's episode. This is Quo, QUO, the smarter way to run your business communications. Quo. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not getting work cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. It works right from your phone or computer, and you can even keep your existing number. And Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps, so details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2 Trust by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this the year where no opportunity, no customer slips away. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to Quo, QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen. Sorry, I'm not getting to everything, but I'll just keep making. I promise I'll get more stuff out today. All right, what do we get offensively? We got someone who actually can play the 4 or the 5 offensively. And that'll be really, really, really interesting. Shoot, I really need to take this call. How am I going to do this? Well, I'll have to get it back later. Yeah, there's no way I can take this call and miss the show. And yeah, okay. Nonetheless, super distracting. All right, who do we get offensively? He's a good three-point shooter, an awkward-looking, weird three-point shooter, but he takes about 5 a game, and he makes somewhere between. He's a 35% three-point shooter. 3 years ago, he was 32. Last year, he was 38. This year is 36. Year before is 36. He has built a better drive isolation game. Recently, that seems to be where he has changed his game a little bit, is getting in Tomas Isolo's system. He's been getting a little bit more open opportunities to drive to the basket and kind of make plays, and he's gotten pretty strong. He sure loves his left hand almost all the time on that, and has gotten better at that and added that to his game, and that's kind of where he's increased a lot of his opportunities. I think he will be effective in a ability to play the switch. The Jazz will be playing huge players all the time with Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Ace Bailey. And I think when they have the opportunity for post-ups and things of that nature, he'll do it. He is he is not a great post-up player. He does it a good deal. He posted up 18% of the time this year for his offense, which is very high. He shot 52%. He was in the 41st percent in rank there, so it's not great. But his isolation game has gotten a little bit better each and every year. The other one I would say, for him this year is the fact that he is he has not been taking advantage of transition a super amount, and maybe that's not his game. But here is his isolation game. It was 0.9 in 21-22, 0.9 points in 21-22-23. Then it went to 1.03 in 23-24. It went to 1.02 the next year, and this year it's at 1.05. In the last 3 years, his isolation game has gone from doing it about 2 times per 100 possessions to 4 times per 100 possessions to 12 times per 100 possessions last year to 9 times this year. He has kind of been lost in their system this year. So he has added this in the last 3 years of his game. He now has, I get the mismatch. I've got enough drive game. I'm getting the basket. And boy, does he prefer to go left-handed when he can. That would be the really obvious thing for him. He likes to do it usually from the top of the floor, but maybe on the right hand, and he would prefer to go left hand. Is my memory. Teams have kind of overplayed him, and he's about 50-50 on it for the year, but that's just because teams are forcing him his way. But he's actually about even on both of them, so that's efficiency-wise. So that's a pretty good sign. He is a bona fide NBA scorer. You can go give him the ball and tell him to go make a play, probably better than Lowry. We've been watching Lowry try to learn how to do this. This is an area where I would say Jaren Jackson Jr. late in the game probably is better at getting a shot along the way than Lauri Markkanen is. He shoots about 4 or 5 free throws a game. They have dropped in the last 3 years. I honestly just keep watching that game the other night, and he just had so little zest in what he was doing and how they were using him. And I did an entire show on what the heck are they doing with Jaren Jackson Jr. and what are they going to do with that contract? And the answer is they're going to trade it to the Utah Jazz because it just didn't fit what Isolo was doing. This year, he has not been very good in the clutch either. So that will be interesting to see whether that gets better in the Jazz system than it is this year in the clutch. He is 8 of 37 from the floor, but he has gone to the free throw line 21 times, and he's 1 of 11 from 3, but they've also been playing without a point guard and a bunch of other things, but he has not been great in the clutch. Let's not hide it. He's an awkward offensive player, but he's an efficient offensive player. The year prior, when he had Desmond Bane out there, he shot 47% in the clutch and 33% from 3. So he's a decent spot-up shooter that can play pick and pop on the pick and roll, which the Jazz desperately need. He's a bona fide scorer who scored 20 points a game. He has improved his isolation drive game. He's an average to above average post-up player who, when the Jazz probably get him better matchups, hopefully he will get better at that over time. He was a little above average last year. He's a little below average this year. I kind of go back to his stuff of last year, frankly, and just look at that. And then I almost go back and look at his last year with Taylor Hendricks, because it just felt as though whatever system they were putting in when they put their drive system in did not match him very well. And he's an average isolation player. He is an average transition player. He was an above average post-up player. This is when he took his isolation jump in the last year with Taylor Jenkins. And if you look at his midway through numbers of a year ago with Taylor Jenkins offensively, he was more active in transition in 04-05, 17% of his time in 04-05. So last year of Taylor Jenkins and Isolo. And Jenkins was fired pretty late. He was in transition 17% of the time. And this year he's only in transition 14% of the time and is not actually effective in transition. Is that the team? Is that him? I have no idea. We'll have to see what he does with us. But he's been an above average offensive player in just kind of every realm. If you go back 1 year, his isolation game we just talked about, his post-up game, he was in this 60th percentile, so he's good, not great, makes 52% of his shots on post-ups, which if you're late in the shot clock and you go to a post-up, that's pretty good. His transition, he was okay, and his spot-up, he's well above average in kind of the 70th percentile. So that's the offensive player we got from this. Will be helpful. All right, I will do more content for you because I was so excited I didn't get to all of it. What did we give up? Why now? How it will look? I'll do some of those more. There'll be content coming out throughout the day, but that is episode 1 of the day of Locked On Jazz. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to follow me on socials, it's DLock09. If you want to join the Everydayer Club, Use the promo code JJJ to get 1 month off. That's JJJ to get 1 month off at lockedonjazz.supercast.com. We'd love to have you be a part of the All Access program or just part of the Everyday program and help that Discord program become the best Jazz fans and be part of the #1 community of Jazz fans on Discord. In the meantime, we now send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel on YouTube, Locked On NBA, and on audio. Check out Locked On NBA every game, every night on